Hello and welcome back to our Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky first chapter playthrough. In our last episode, we rescued two boys from a tower. Yay us. We were commended by the Bracers Guild, and now we're on our way home yet again. I wonder if we'll get there this time. I wonder. Estelle says, "Hey Joshua." Joshua asks, Estelle asks, "Do you think I'm really cut out to be a bracer?" Joshua nods. "Well, you seem to have inherited your father's skill with the staff, and your nosy personality doesn't let you ignore someone in distress." Estelle blushes. "Really? You think so?" Joshua says, "Sure, but why are you asking? Are you still thinking about what happened back at the tower?" Estelle nods. "Yeah. Because of my carelessness, Luke almost got caught in the middle of a dangerous situation. If Dad hadn't come when he did, he could have been seriously injured. I guess I'm just worried about whether or not I'll be able to stay on top of things in the future." Joshua smiles. That kind of talk doesn't sound like the Estelle I know. Estelle gasps. "Huh?" Joshua says, "If we fail today, then all that's left to do is take back our losses tomorrow, right? Overthinking and worrying about things that haven't happened yet is definitely not like you. Isn't being a bracer what you've always dreamed of? How can you expect to succeed if you let something like what happened today discourage you?" Estelle sighs. "Joshua, you're right. This isn't like me at all." Joshua nods. "I don't think a serious expression really suits your face either. You laughing like a big ditz is far more natural for you." Estelle glares. "Hey, what's that supposed to mean? You're going to see my angry expression if you keep that up." Joshua laughs. "Okay, I admit that last comment was pushing things a bit." Estelle smiles. "I'll overlook it this time. And thanks for cheering me up. I don't know about you, but I'm so ready to get home and eat. My stomach is just growling like a bear." Joshua thinks to himself, maybe glutton is closer to the mark than ditz. So we're on our way home. And we picked the right path for once. No one's here cooking. It's a bit of a shame. Estelle says, "We're home, Dad." "We finished reporting to the guild like you told us to." Cassia says, "Good work, kids. The details of your reports will be reviewed at each branch and will affect your pay and rank advancement in the future. Please make sure that you always remember to do it." Estelle says, "Don't worry, we will. And before I forget, I got that copy of the Liberal News you wanted. There was this letter for you at the guild too." We handed over the Liberal News and a letter. Cassia says, "A letter, huh?" Estelle says, "Well, I'm going to get cleaned up and start dinner." "Oh, and Dad, thanks for coming when you did today. You really helped me out back there." Cassius gasps. "I see you're being rather gracious today." Papa is happy. How delightful. my daughter has finally understood what a great man her father truly is. There's no need to hold back, Estelle. Come and jump into your father's loving arms. Estelle glowers. In your dreams. I swear, the men in this house have one thing in common. They never know when to shut up. Cassius grins. I guess she's not as depressed as I thought she'd be. Should I be thanking you, Joshua? Joshua says, I didn't do much. I just gave her a push in the right direction. Estelle's a resilient girl to begin with. Cassius nods. Yes, she is, but she still has a long way to go. She'll run into more than just a few stumbling blocks in this line of work. And overcoming those obstacles is what will teach her to stand on her own 2 feet. Joshua grins. There's that soft side of yours talking again. Estelle shrieks from the kitchen. Oh no! Are eggs supposed to explode like that? I guess I shouldn't have gone in expecting to make a perfect meal in a single try. No, wait, cooking is supposed to be about passion. Exploding eggs are passionate, right? Now, once more. Cassius sighs. That daughter of mine can sometimes be a little too passionate. Joshua nods. I think I'll go help with dinner. We don't want the curtains to catch fire again. But at this rate, there's no telling when we can expect to have a bite of food ready on the dinner table. Cassius laughs. Haha. All right then, let's see what this litter is all about, shall we? Cassius cuts the letter seal. A message from the Erebonian Empire? What? Cassius gasps. Wow, this is a surprise. Estelle says, this new dish is what I call Estelle's explosion over rice. Be sure to save every last morsel. Joshua says, I will. Your cooking this evening is excellent. My compliments to the chef. Estelle laughs. Hee, this is raw talent at its best. Today certainly has been a busy but great day nonetheless. We qualified as junior bracers, had our first real assignment, and I didn't even lose my eyebrows making dinner this time. Cassius says, not to mention the food being delicious. For a first attempt, this dish is actually quite edible. At first I thought I might have to pitch it out the window when you weren't looking, but it seems that technique won't be necessary tonight. Estelle glowers. Sometimes you're just so despicably rude, Dad. Don't you know how to be humble and just say something tastes nice? Cassius says, all right then, how about this? Boy, I never thought I'd be able to eat something wonderful like this before I had to leave on business. Gee, that's a clumsy little segue. You made a splendid meal, Estelle. Estelle grins. Thanks, Dad. Wait, business? Joshua asks, are you really leaving again? Cassius nods. Yes. Something unexpected came up. This time I'm going to be away for a while. Estelle blanches. Hold on a minute. You're leaving when? Cassius says, tomorrow morning. Estelle asks, what? I don't care what kind of job you're doing, that's just too soon. Joshua asks, it's about that letter, isn't it? Was there some sort of incident? Cassius says, oh, it's nothing like that, just a simple investigation. I'll have to visit a number of places, so it'll take me about a solid month before I'm through. That being the case, please take good care of the house while I'm away. Estelle shouts, "What do you mean, that being the case? You always use some vague excuse like that and take off for who knows how long." Joshua smiles sadly. "We have to accept it, Estelle. Our brace's job is to help those who come to us for help." Estelle grumbles, I know, but what are you going to do about all your jobs here in the roulette branch? You've already accepted a few of them, haven't you?" Cassius replies, "Oh, only about 5 or 6. So I was thinking, and how about the both of you handle them for me instead?" Estelle exclaims, "What? Are you really asking us to do the work that you're supposed to be doing?" Cassius nods. "That I am. I'll have you do the ones which I think you can accomplish. And I'll ask Scheherazade to handle the difficult ones. So what do you say?" I'd like to... No, sure, we'll do them." Estelle grins. "Sure, of course we will. You're okay doing these too, right, Joshua?" Joshua nods. "Yeah, no problem. Looks like a good way to get some bracer experience in." Cassius says, "Then settled. I'll stop by the guild and let Hyena know about the change of plan before I leave." Estelle says, "All right. I'm starting to feel more determined than ever. We'll have to bust our tails with these jobs so that we don't tarnish your name while you're gone." Cassius says, "Oh, Estelle, my beloved daughter, Papa is so proud. Oh, my dear Lena, who art in heaven, can you see your daughter now? How little Estelle has grown up to be such a lovely young woman." Estelle groans. "Face it, Dad, you're getting old. If people lose their trust in you at this age, you might as well just throw in the towel forever. I'm only helping you out because I'm your daughter, and I have a duty to pay you back for the last 16 years. Cassius stammers, "I'm only 45, and what's more, I'm very likely the most active member of the entire guild." Joshua sighs. Not bad for a pair of comedians. "By the way, Dad, which flight will you be on tomorrow? The one headed for Gransel or the one headed for Beauzet?" Cassius replies, "I'll be on the one headed for Gransel. My flight departs at 10 o'clock in the morning." Estelle says, Apologies about that. Estelle says that means I'll have to get up a little earlier tomorrow. I'd better set my alarm clock just in case. Joshua says, "Dad." Cassius asks, "Are you still awake, Joshua?" Joshua says, "You'd better hold off on the liquor or Estelle will get mad again." Cassius replies, "This is just my way of lifting my spirits before I travel. How about yourself? Would you like to join me for a drink?" Joshua says, "I'll pass. Actually, what I should be saying here is, don't offer alcohol to minors. I'm not like Scheherazade, who would jump at any chance to enjoy a drink or 10. Cassius laughs. "That's because she holds her liquor much better than I do." Joshua asks, "There's something really serious happening, isn't there?" Cassius nods. There's no conclusive evidence, but there appears to be some sort of movement within the Empire. "The Erebonian Empire?" asks Joshua. "That sounds pretty suspicious." Cassius says, this movement doesn't appear to be overt, but that's what has me worried. I intend to do a little probing at the Erebonian embassy to see what turns up. Joshua nods. Understood. I'll make sure to look after Estelle while you're gone. Cassius nods. Don't spoil that girl, you hear me? Now that she's become a bracer, she needs to learn to look after herself. Joshua says, Estelle will be fine. She's got good instincts, and despite being a bit rough about the edges, she has talent with the staff as well. There's no doubt in my mind that she'll be a first-class bracer someday. Cassius replies, yet at present she's like a babe in arms who knows nothing about the realities of the world around her. At some point in time, she'll have to choose which path to follow in life. And Joshua, the same thing can be said for you too. It's already been 5 years since you became a part of this family, hasn't it? How time does fly. Joshua agrees. Yes, it sure does seem that way. Cassius says, about what you said back then, are you sure you won't reconsider taking those words back? Joshua replies, for me, keeping my word is what defines who I am. If I can't do something as simple as that, I don't know how I could live with myself. I know this may sound stubborn, but I can't take back what I said. I'm sorry. Cassius says, there's no need to apologize, but I'd like you to remember this. No matter what path you choose in life, you can't erase these past 5 years. Estelle and I will always be your family, no matter what may befall you. Joshua nods. Thanks, Dad. I guess so ends the prologue, A Father's Love, A New Beginning. We're at the airship dock, and Cassius says, well, it looks like it's time for me to board my flight. Estelle, don't do anything I wouldn't do myself, and try not to be a handful for Joshua either. Estelle sighs, for the umpteenth time, I heard you already. How about you try not to go overboard yourself with your own work? You're not getting any younger, you know. Cassius replies, say what you will, but I'm not about to be overtaken by any youngsters. Scheherazade, I'm really sorry about placing all this work on your shoulders at the last moment. Scheherazade says, please, don't be. I am slightly concerned, however, about whether or not I can do a decent job in your place. Cassius replies, there's no need to be humble, Silverstreak. And I don't mean to make your life any more difficult. Please keep an eye on these two. Scheherazade smiles. You just leave that to me. Is tightening up the reins and not spoiling these two fine with you? Cassius nods. You definitely understand the way I think. Estelle pouts. What's this all about? Joshua laughs. It looks to me like a mutual understanding between master and pupil. The loudspeaker's voice. The Grant-bound airliner, Linda, will soon be departing. All passengers, please board the airship now. Cassius says, oh, I'd better take my seat. Joshua calls. Have a great trip, Dad. We'll take care of everything here while you're gone. What should we have, Estelle say? Yes, souvenirs. Estelle calls. I'm not sure everywhere you'll be going, but don't forget to bring me back a souvenir. A little fancy something would be nice. Cassia sighs. Hey now, this trip is for business, not pleasure. If I have any money left over, I'll certainly think about it though. All right, you two, be good while I'm gone. Joshua says, he's gone again. Estelle sighs, yeah. Scheherazade tells them, come on you two, there's no need to look so down. Your father will be back in no time. I don't know what kind of investigation he's been asked to do this time. When it comes to your father, he'll have it done before you know it. Estelle pouts, I'm not sad that he's gone. He's always been away more than he's been at home. Scheherazade says, all right, if you say so. Anyway, I'm going to get to work on those jobs your father left for me. But if you run into any trouble, give me a holler. Estelle nods. Will do. But first, I'd like to try and finish a few jobs with Joshua. I want to see what we're capable of as junior bracers. Scheherazade says, all right, if you insist. I imagine that with Joshua tagging along, there's probably not much to be worried about. Good luck, you two. Estelle says, thanks. Joshua nods, we'll do our best. Joshua continues, so what do you want to do now, Estelle? Shall we go stop by the guild? Estelle nods. Yeah, we should probably talk to Aina and find out what jobs are waiting for us. Let's go! And away we go. First stop, we'll go into the Orbital factory and see if we can enhance anything. Freddy says, it looks like the airliner bound for the Royal City from Bose has arrived. But since we've got nothing coming in, we'll be able to focus on work here in the shop. That's good. Let's... nothing for Estelle by the looks. How about Joshua? Nope, nothing for him either. We have some new quartz we can meld. We just need more of the crystals. Hello, Mr. Renon. Do you have... We'll take another reviving bath. I suppose what we also should do. Orvid says, what's the deal with everything being in short supply around here? Damn it, somehow I'm going to have to dig up a grade A product before I head to my next business deal. Sad for him. Let's just duck over here to the pub and see if they can teach us anything to cook. Radmira says, unbelievable. I came all the way here just to find that I wasted all this time for nothing. I can't find any buyers, and the shops are bigger cheapskates than I thought they'd be. I guess it's safe to say that backwater places will always be backwater places. Estelle groans. This lady is really making me angry. Radmira asks, and who are you supposed to be? Then again, I don't really care who you are. I'll give you a deal, so how about you buy something? Estelle asks, what? Radmira asks, will one of these wood carvings work for you? You won't find fine workmanship like this outside the Calvard Republic. Estelle asks, Calvard? Sounds familiar. Is that some famous store or something? Joshua replies, the Calvard Republic is the country to the east of the Libel Kingdom. Estelle stutters, I knew that. Joshua continues, so Calvard made folk crafts, items that you're... Start again. So Calvard made folk craft items are what you're selling, huh? I'm sure you'll find a lot more people willing to take them off your hands if you went to the royal city. Radmira sighs. You think so? I really thought some place in the boonies like this would be a taker on these, but maybe I was wrong. Estelle frowns. Danger, danger, anger meter rising. Radmira says, oh well, I guess I'll try heading to Gransel sooner rather than later. Then again, what is my son Charles up to? Just when I thought I could get some help out of him, he ups and wanders off. The Abend Bar. Hello. Oh, wholesome pasta, 100 mira. We'll add the wholesome pasta recipe. Go us. What else do you have? You have French fries, floury soda, and carmine eye. Hey there, Mr. Elgar. Have you got any, weapons for us, perhaps? Elgar says, hey there, how are our first year braces doing? So Cassius is going to be out for a while, huh? Joshua replies, yes, we just saw him off at the landing port. You sure managed to hear about it rather quickly, though. Elgar says, well... Back in the day, Cassius used to leave Estelle with us while he was away. But after you came here, he started having you keep an eye on things. And Joshua blushes. I didn't know that. Elgar says Estelle gets surprisingly lonely when no one is around. Whenever we had her over, she was as quiet as a cat among strangers. Estelle blushes. Don't say stuff like that. I am not. Elgar says, after about 2 or 3 days here, though, she'd eat, sleep, and play like it was her own house. Joshua laughs. I can imagine that. Estelle pouts. What do you have, sir? We have pile rod, which increases by 4. Kunai increases strength by 3. Must both be wearing leather vests. Alright. We're probably better served by picking up the accessories that prevent status ailments at this point. And then we've got 600 mirror to go. So theoretically I could upgrade Estelle's weapon, but I think that'll do for the time being. And let's head into the Bracers Guild. Aina, hello. Aina says, "Oh, good morning, Estelle and Joshua. Has your father already left?" Estelle nods. "Yep, just barely. That's why we came here to find out about the jobs he left for us." Aina says, "Sure. There are a total of 3 jobs I have lined up for you. For the first one, I'd like you to head out to the farm west of here." Estelle asks, "The farm west of here? Isn't that where Tio lives?" Aina asks, "Tio? I seem to have heard that name somewhere before." Joshua replies, "Tio Purcell. She was one of our classmates at Sunday school. She's also the Purcell farm owner's daughter." Aina asks, "Oh really? It's actually the Purcell farm that put in a request to have someone exterminate some monsters." Estelle asks, "Are they really having problems like that?" Aina replies, "Fortunately nobody has been hurt, but the owner and his family are upset over their fields being destroyed by the creatures. Therefore, the guild received an extermination request." Estelle says, "I never would have expected something like that to happen." "Okay, we will head out there right now." Aina says, "Here, take this with you. We received a guild referral." Aina continues, "This document certifies that you were dispatched by the guild. Please give it to the owner of the farm." Estelle replies, "We already know Tio's father pretty well, so I don't think this is necessary, but we'll take it just in case." Okay, so we're heading out to the west, which would be this way. On the Milch Main Road. We get a critical bonus and you miss. Ow. The cats were not happy.
We're good to go!
Okay, let's art some things. just because we can. I say. What's he going to do to us out? That wasn't nice. Going to tear Estelle. Nice.
That's that then. Let's move out.
17 to the next level. We've got some fresh herbs. 2 of them. Monsters appeared out of the chest. Lovely. Oh, they did, didn't they? I see. Oh. Right. Ow! Ow! That was unnecessary. Okay, let's get rid of the lily mover. And Estelle can tear herself again. Really unnecessary.
I'm sorry.
Really, really unnecessary. Ow.
Not now.
Yes, we were defeated. We're going to retry. And we're going to start by taking out the lily mover. Ow.
Not
Really,
now.
ow?
We're good to go. I'm sorry.
maybe he missed. Get rid of one. Or not.
Not now.
Yeah, go to run. Note to self. We're not ready for that chest.
We're good to go.
That was significantly easier. Yay, level 5. I still don't think we'll be strong enough. For some reason. Such a relaxing battle theme, which is weird to say in itself, but you know, it is also true. Should have attacked with Estelle, but got a piece of beast flesh and a fresh herb. Go us. Which reminds me. No, that's the map. No. There we go. Phew. We do still have the reviving balm. Lucky us. Recipe book. Some pasta. Stores 180. We need milled flour, olive oil, and beast flesh. Oh well. Have to look for more stuff. Ooh. Let's dual strike Mr. Red Insectos. Like that.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Oh, we get some wind gems from him. I shouldn't keep rotating the map or we'll keep running around in circles. That wasn't nice. Rewind. Nice. We can craft a dual strike on you. Bye bye.
That's that then. Let's move out.
And we got a fresh herb and a beast flesh. Go us. You're not a nice scaly kid, nice.
We're good to go.
Ow.
All right, we're good to go.
say, red insectus looks sort of like something you'd find in Digimon. That wasn't very nice.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Let's just save here. Am I scared? Yes, I am. Look, we found a tier bar. And it says the chest is empty. Surprised. I mean, there might be something hidden beneath it. Wow, they're throwing Joshua around, aren't they? Well, we'll have to have you move up. Can we craft? No. So, I'll have you move up, take it on. Bonus to critical, can craft one of those. And it's cool. I appreciate you don't want us hurting you, but, you know.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Getting shoved around the battlefield is not the way of a friend, you know? You've got a fresh hope.
Let's do this!
Here I come.
What's it gonna do? Oh, that's not nice.
All right, we're good to go.
We get a lot of those silver gems though, don't we? We've got a beast flesh. Oh. And that was all we get, apparently. South, Purcell Farm. Okay, so south being a generally this way sort of direction. I'm going to airstrike you. And we're going to tier Joshua.
Let's move out!
Yes, I'm not really sure what Estelle's supposed to be, because the prologue of the tutorial has she set her up as the healer, and yet while she does have the staff / gate / whatever of the healer, she also uses it offensively. No.
Not now.
Yeah, I agree. Ow. Yeah, I should have just run, shouldn't I? Yeah, the tutorial has you set her up as the healer, but her crafts are all tanky. And her limit break is very definitely damage oriented. So yeah, I'm not sure which way we should actually go with Estelle. I mean, Joshua isn't. Joshua is very obviously a damage dealer and should be set up as such with his twin daggers and so forth.
Good to go.
So, yeah, I guess we'll just have to play it a little bit by ear. We got 2 savoury pinions. Interesting. And we've arrived at the Purcell farm. Estelle sighs. No matter when we come here, this place is always so tranquil. It's hard to imagine monsters running amok here. Joshua replies, I certainly don't sense anything out of the ordinary either. Anyway, let's go ask someone here to fill us in on the details. Estelle says, I wonder if Tio is home today. Come into the greenhouses. Can we nick food? No. That's a bit of a shame. Bit of a shame. But it is what it is. sign. Will says, "It's Joshua. Did you come to play with me?" Joshua replies, "I wish I had the time, but I'm afraid today I'm here for work." Will asks, "Work? That's no fun if we can't play." Joshua laughs, "Maybe later if there's time." Estelle says, "The kids here really like you, Joshua." Cher says, "Oh, Joshua, Estelle." Estelle says, "Hi Cher, how have you been?" Joshua asks, "Do you know where your mum and dad are?" Cher says they're not at home right now. Tio's outside if you want to talk to her though. It's a nice little tractor. Cows. Oh, we can't sleep on the beds. Oh, little Dolly on the top of the bunk bed. That is a big kitchen. And a pantry / larder. So Tio must be the cowgirl over there. Estelle says, "Hi Tio." Joshua asks, "It's been a while, hasn't it?" Tio says, "Estelle and Joshua too? Did you guys come for a visit?" Estelle replies, "Not exactly. We're here on bracer business. We heard that you've been having some trouble with monsters." Estelle and Joshua explain that they are here to do their father's work because he is away. Tio asks, "You finished all your training? That's wonderful news. Maybe you can help after all." Estelle asks, "So there really are monsters giving you trouble, huh?" Tio nods. "Regrettably, that's been the case for the past several days now. Thanks to which, I'm suffering from a lack of sleep." Joshua asks, "Which means the monsters only come out at night?" Tio nods. "You're very perceptive, Joshua. It'd be better if you got all the details from my father, though. I imagine he should be back from delivering the milk and vegetables any time now." I like the way they've got the cow just gently chewing its cud. And we've got to go through the... possibly eggplant. Estelle says, "Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Purcell." Joshua asks, "How is everyone getting on these days?" Hannah says, "Well, if it isn't Estelle and Joshua." Franz says, "What brings you to our neck of the woods? Did you come to see Tio?" Estelle replies, "We were actually just chatting with her outside." Joshua nods. "To tell you the truth, we're here on an errand today from the Bracers Guild." Estelle hands Mr. Purcell the guild referral, and Joshua explains that they are taking over for their father while he is away. Hannah asks, "Is that so? But don't you think this job is a little dangerous for just the two of you to handle?" Franz nods. I agree. I'd feel terrible if one of you were to get hurt. Estelle scoffs. Don't sweat it. We're bracers after all. And taking care of monsters is right up our alley. Joshua nods. The guild has even authorized us to carry out this task. If you wouldn't mind leaving it to us, we'd be more than grateful. Says Franz. Well, all right then. Go ahead and have at it. Estelle says, Thank you very much, Mr. Purcell. Then could you tell us a little more about the monsters that have been wrecking your fields? Franz says, I haven't been able to get a clear look at one yet, but they seem to resemble something like a chubby cat. As far as I can tell, 3 or 4 appear at night and raid our fields, gnawing on anything that they can get their grubby little paws on. Hannah says they don't seem threatening exactly, but they're extremely nimble. We've tried many times to capture them over the course of the last several nights, but to no avail. Estelle says, Sounds like a pretty strange bunch of creatures if you ask me. Joshua nods. Since they only appear under the cover of night, we'll have to wait for it to get dark. Franz offers, Then how about taking a load off until then? Hannah asks, I assume you'll also be joining us for dinner, right? Estelle grins. You said the magic word. You bet I will. I'm a huge fan of your cooking, Mrs. Purcell. I can't wait. Hannah says, You sure know how to please a woman who spends a lot of time toiling in the kitchen. And for that, I'll whip you up something special that'll live up to your expectations. Nighttime, obviously. Estelle says, Oh, that was delicious. Your mum's cooking is as good as ever, Tio. Tio laughs. That's because she gets excited to cook whenever we have guests over for meals. I feel really bad for Joshua, though, with those little ones jumping all over him like that. Estelle laughs. That's probably a good thing. Surprisingly enough, kids tend to latch onto him a lot. If anything, I'm more blown away by the fact that children enjoy playing with such a stick in the mud. Tio says, I think that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, don't you? He's definitely courteous and maybe even a tad reserved, but if you get to know him, he's a really caring young man. The fact that he's not self-conscious about it too gives him points in my book. Estelle asks, You really think so? Tio says, Think about it. With those striking facial features, mysterious amber eyes, and lush black hair, it's only natural that he'd be a target for all the young girls. Estelle gasps. Is Joshua really that popular? Tio asks, Are you blind, Estelle? Rumour has it that more than just a few girls have asked him to go out with him. I hear that he turned them all down, though. Estelle stammers, I had no idea. Joshua never said a word to me about it. I don't know how I should even begin to describe his secretive nature after hearing this, but how utterly cruel of him not to confide in me. Tio says, If you were a boy, I imagine it would be a different story, but as a girl, I don't think that's something he would talk to you about. And the fact that you haven't fallen for him yourself is beyond me. Estelle asks, Huh? Why would I? Joshua calls, Estelle, you're in there, aren't you? It's about time to do our rounds. Estelle calls back, All right, I'm coming. I'll be back after Joshua and I get the job done, Tio. I'd like to continue this conversation then, okay? Tio says, Oh, all right. Be careful out there, Estelle. Tio says, that girl, she's either completely out of touch with matters of the heart or just plain dense. Poor Joshua, he really has his work cut out for him. Joshua says, it seems as though the monsters are always showing up at about this time. We'd better get outside and take a look around. Estelle glowers. Grrr. Joshua asks, what's going on, Estelle? Estelle says, I've got to ask, Joshua, you don't happen to have any secrets you're not telling me about, do you? Joshua gasps, come on now. Where are you coming up with this stuff? Estelle says, since you came to live with us, you've always done everything together, right? Even though we've had our fair share of fights, they're all good memories for me now, and what I mean to say is I've come to think of you as family in every sense of the word. Joshua says, Estelle says, so if there's ever anything on your mind you'd like to talk about, I'm available to lend an ear. You know, about things like trouble with your love life and whatnot. Joshua asks, what are you trying to say? Estelle blushes. Nothing. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here to listen if you need someone to talk to. That's all. Let's hurry up and get out there so we can kick some monster butt. Joshua wonders, what kind of nonsense is Tio putting into that girl's head? Secrets, huh? Estelle says, wow, it's really dark out here in the countryside. So Joshua, how do you think we should go about making the rounds? Joshua replies, let's see. How about we start by checking around the house first and then move on to the fields, stable and greenhouses. We should be able to cover the entire farm by doing it this way. Estelle nods. All right, let's go. Sorry, the one thing about doing all this narrating is finding time to have a drink of water. Estelle says, no monsters here. Joshua nods. All right, let's keep moving. Estelle says it's awfully quiet. All I hear are the bugs chirping. Joshua replies, it doesn't look as if they've shown up yet. I wonder if they're aware of our presence. Estelle says, hey Joshua, did anyone ever tell you that story as a kid? You know, thought about babies being born in a cabbage patch. Joshua sighs. Now there's another question right entirely out of the blue. And no, I was told about an angel with silver wings who delivers them. Estelle says, interesting. So the explanation for where babies come from differs depending on the region, huh? Joshua asks, how about we get back to work? Estelle nods. Okay. So there's nothing near the cabbages. Nothing behind the greenhouses. Joshua says, I should Start again. I should have figured monsters wouldn't bother coming in here. Estelle replies, the glow of the orbments sure give this place a romantic ambience. It makes me feel like it was all worthwhile just setting foot in here. Joshua sighs, you are definitely a ditz, Estelle. Estelle growls, at least it's better than being dense like someone I know. Estelle whispers, psst, look. Oh, hello. The monster says meow and buggers off. Estelle says, it's getting away. Hey, get back here, you little furball. Joshua says, I can still sense its presence. It's staying put on the farm for the moment. Estelle says, well, good, because it's about to get caught. Oh, we can talk to the cows. And they can go moo. There it is. Right in front of me. Estelle says, I got him. I think it's time to teach this critter a lesson. Joshua says, here's where our job really starts, so stay alert and don't let your guard down. Okay, so there's Mummy as well. Look at that. One at a time, I think. Crop muncher is plain dead. And giant crop muncher is ready nuts. I see. Right. Oh, that wasn't nice. That's also not a
Come on!
so there's one goal. Ow. That was close. That was so close. Dual strike. Okay. I'm so used to having to defend to so used to having to defend to progress the state of play. I'm going to Siva. Just to try and
That's that then. Let's move out.
And we got level ups. We got a dirty carrot, and that was all. The monster says meow. Another monster says meow. Franz says, my goodness, the work of a bracer is something else. You kids have done a fine job of rounding up these critters. Estelle says, it was nothing really. I wanted to ask you though, now that they've been caught, what do you plan on doing with them? I don't think they'll cause any more trouble. Now that we've given these creatures a good thrashing, I don't think they'll cause any more trouble. Joshua asks, Estelle, how's that going to benefit anyone if we show these creatures any mercy now? We're here to do a job by exterminating the monsters, remember? Estelle stammers, but... Joshua says, in any case, we're here to do a job in Dad's place. If the same thing happens again, what will you have to say to you for yourself? Estelle sighs, I see what you're getting at, but... Tio says, it was only some dead vegetables that were damaged, so what do you think about letting it slide this time? Hannah says, after taking a beating like that, I'm sure they've learned their lesson. Estelle says, Tio, Mrs. Purcell. Joshua says, but in this case I strongly suggest otherwise. Franz says, I myself am against killing them too. Whether it's us or them, the fact of the matter is we're all living beings trying to survive on the same land. To some degree, I think we need to be mindful of those creatures living around us as we go about our daily lives. I know you may disagree with me, Joshua, but would you mind sparing these critters just this once? Joshua nods. Understood. Since this is coming from the ones who suffered the actual loss, I won't object to your request. Franz says, I'm really sorry about this, Joshua. I know I had you to come all the way up here. I'll make sure to reinforce the fence and devise a way to prevent this from happening again. Estelle grins, then that's that. All right, you critters, you'd better count your blessings. If we catch you around here again, you won't be so lucky. Now scram. The monsters scream and run away. Franz says, well, I consider this matter closed. Tonight's been a long night, so how about we head back into the house and hit the sack? The two of you are more than welcome to spend the night. Estelle grins. Sounds good to me. Joshua nods. I appreciate your hospitality. Estelle sighs. Man, I'm beat. It's really late, so how about we hit the sack? Joshua? What's wrong? Joshua says, I'm sorry. I made the situation really awkward for everyone. Estelle says, Are you talking about what happened back outside? Don't sweat it, I guarantee you nobody thought anything of it. Really, your judgment was the most sound of anyone's. Joshua sighs. No, it wasn't. I'm just cold-hearted and indifferent is all. Even now, I still think we shouldn't have shown any mercy and simply put those creatures out of their misery. Unlike you and Tio, I don't feel any compassion. It's at times like this that I really begin to loathe myself. It's almost as if there's something wrong with me as a person. Maybe some part of my heart is broken or something. Estelle shouts, Joshua! Don't you dare say things like that about yourself. Joshua stammers, Estelle? Estelle says, I've watched almost everything you've done for the past 5 years, and I'm confident in saying that I know your strengths and weaknesses better than anyone else. Probably even more than you yourself. I won't allow you to just disregard everything with a bunch of nonsense. I don't ever want to hear you say you're broken again. Joshua nods. I'm sorry, it was foolish of me to say that. Estelle replies, as long as you understand what I said, that's what really matters. But you know what? Believe it or not, I was happy to hear you admit how you felt. Joshua asks, why? Estelle responds, your real problem, Joshua, is that you always try to keep your feelings locked up inside. Whenever you're troubled or worried, you just go around with this nonchalant look and try to fix everything by yourself. That's a little upsetting for someone who's supposed to be your family. Joshua says, Estelle says, Joshua, you were able to lay bare your own weakness today. You learned to trust in someone other than yourself. And for that, I'm happy. Joshua says, I don't know what your point is, but I'm amazed that you can just stand there and say something as embarrassing as that. Estelle grins. I've got a whole lot more where that came from. But how about we call it a night? After all this endless running around, I'm ready to drop. Joshua says, all right then. Have a good night, Estelle. And thanks. Estelle smiles. You're welcome, Joshua. Sleep tight. Franz says, thank you both, you did us all a great service. Once again, I apologize for things not turning out the way they should have. Joshua replies, please don't worry about it anymore. We were able to learn a lot from this experience ourselves. If there's anything else we can help you with in the future, please let the Bracer Guild know. Franz says that'll definitely be the first place we contact. Tio says, come and visit us again sometime when you're free, okay? Hannah says, we'd love to have you over for the night again when things are convenient for you. I'll treat you to some of my best cooking next time you come. Estelle grins. Thank you for the invitation, Tio and Mrs. Purcell. Joshua nods. We'll definitely be back to take you up on that when our workload settles down. Joshua says, alright, how about we head back to the guild? After we report this one, we can start on the next. Estelle nods. Sounds like a plan. On to the next one. And yes, on to the next one indeed. That will have to be the end of this episode. And we will continue the next one, obviously. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in that next episode.